Frankenstein, Dracula, werewolves, phantoms, zombies, gorgons, mad scientists, abominable snowman. These are the monsters that they have created. Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Ingrid Pitt, Veronica Carson, Oliver Reed, Madeline Smith, Barbara Shelley, Michael Gow, Hazel Court, Bartine Beswick. These are the people that faced the horrors. Jimmy Sangster, Terrence Fisher, Michael Carreras, Peter Sasty, John Elder, Evan Jones, Anthony Hines. These are the people who created the horrors behind Hammer Studios. Welcome to Conversations in Hammer Studio Horrors, your gateway into classic horror cinema, brought to you by Broken Lighthouse Pictures and Something Wicked Entertainment. Hello everyone and welcome to Conversations in Hammer Studio Horrors. I'm your host Kevin L. Powers. I'm also the owner-operator of Something Wicked Entertainment and Events, and I want to welcome you to our program today. So if you've been with us, what we do is we take an individual Hammer Studio film and we kind of critique, analyze, and have a general conversation about that movie in order to get into the nooks and crannies of the old school British horror films. Now, we are focusing this podcast on the Hammer Studios, but make sure to check out our regular podcast, Conversations in Horror, in order to check out your other types of horror films. But here, we're going to focus on Hammer Studios, and sometimes we will bring up conversations and stuff about other of the Hammer Studio films we have done for the program. So, just be aware of that. All right. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest host for the day, and that will be the immortal Jim Adams. Thank you so much, Jim, for joining us today.
Not feeling too immortal today, but no.
And we are going to discuss the 1957 film, The Abominable Snowman.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Cushing. So this is a very interesting film, to say the least.
Yeah, and for the folks that think of Hammer, like Frankenstein and Dracula and some of the replays of some of the classic Universals, this was made a year before, those even hit the scenes. So Hammer was just starting to creep into sort of the horror genre. This one was sort of like a nice liaison into getting into out-and-out horror.
Yeah.
I think this was more like a Hammer found footage film. No, no, I mean, but it wasn't really shot documentary style, but you would, it had that feel to it as sort of a documentary type.
Because of all the cinematography of them climbing the mountain.
Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Beautifully
it was absolutely beautifully done.
Yeah. So
amazing. When I think the first time I read about this in one of my film books, I was stunned at how much they shot in studio on this. You wouldn't know it to see the movie. They had a B-roll team that actually went to the Himalayas and shot some scenes, and I think they did some shooting in the French Alps and stuff like that, and then matching it up with their studio scenes. Like, none of the actors in the movie went on location. They were all in studio, and it's seamless. I mean, it's absolutely seamless. You can't tell. I mean, you feel cold when watching this movie. Thinking these guys are probably freezing their butts off making this thing. Not really.
no, but because this is so far removed from some of the other Hammer films that they did, this one doesn't feel like a period movie like you would hear the early Hammer films were. This feels like almost a modern film. It's just in this throwback kind of world of the Himalayas.
And I think it was supposed to supposedly take place, in 57 or whatever. It was a contemporary film when they made it.
Yeah, so that right there that also sets it apart from a lot of the more gothic films that Hammer became known for.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. And this was the first Abominable Snowman movie I remember as a kid. So I probably saw it because I think it was on my Monster Movie Matinee show. Usually it took them about 5 or 6 years to make it to TV, so it was probably early 60s when I saw it for the first time. And I remember it made quite an impression on me. It was like, I thought it was going to be like a traditional monster movie. You're going to have these abominable snow people attacking, and but you know, like some of the ones we see nowadays. You know,
like most of
it wasn't that kind of a movie. It's a real thinking person's film, but I don't want to shy anyone away who haven't seen it because I think it's really beautifully made and it's very intelligently made.
It is. It is. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the film is that the fact that it's like a big adventure film for the most part.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing about it is that the actual Yeti slash Abominable Snowman is more benevolent in this film than you would take in modern day.
Oh, absolutely. That's the real shocker at the end.
Yeah, I mean it's a much different film than you would think you were walking into if you were watching it now. Now, I unfortunately only recently saw this within the last couple of years when I found it on I think it was Shout Factory or Scream Factory Blu-ray, and I finally was able to.
Yeah. They released one a while back on some of their compilations.
Yeah, so that was the first time I only recently just saw it, and then of course we rewatched it for the podcast, and I really loved it the first time I saw it. Other than seeing a very young Peter Cushing in it.
And for those of you out there that may not have the Blu-ray or the DVD, you can find it on streaming. I think Tubi has one. I mean, you got commercials with it. But I'm sure Amazon's got everything, so it's probably there. But I think I just did a quick search on it a couple of weeks ago, and I think Tubi and maybe Plex or one of those. I know Tubi had it. I was pretty sure Tubi had it, but it wasn't hard to find if you just go into your streaming search engine and it'll show up pretty easily.
Yeah. Well, also the biggest problem is now there's just so many freaking movies about Abominable Snowman. You'll run into a lot of other ones, but just know that this was the one with Peter Cushing.
Yeah, just put in 1957 just to distinguish it. It'll zero right in on it for you.
Yeah, well, that's one of the problems. The reason why it took me so long to watch this when I was growing up, it was a black and white movie, and I didn't watch any black and white movies when I was a kid. But I became enamored with the Hammer Studio films and started researching those films and all the ones I hadn't seen. And within the last 2 years, I caught up with this one and Rasputin, the Mad Monk, and a bunch of the other ones.
Very underrated film in its own right too. Yeah, another good one.
Ones I had never gotten around to seeing, I finally started to see within the last 2 years. So that was a great thing. And COVID helped out too. So
there's some real gems out there.
Yeah. There. You know what? Some people forget about the Hammer Studios and what they produced, and some of the stuff was really, really great. The really early film before they started doing the Dracula Frankenstein film.
Right.
The different types of stories that they were willing to put their money behind.
There were always good stories. There were one thing they were really, really established themselves on early on were good characters and good stories, and this one has both in it, which really makes it a very strong film.
I mean, this is the thing about this movie. It starts off with what is it, Dr.
Rawlinson, yeah.
Rawlinson. Peter Cushing's character, Dr. Rawlinson's a weird name. Dr. Rawlinson and the Peter Fox character who doesn't want to even be there, but they're both scientists who are researching plants and exotic plants, and they're getting all this information from the Lama up there in the Himalayas in Tibet. And they're at his monastery because he's known for having all these different types of exotic plants that's never been, brought
right. And it's sort of a jump off for the adventurers back then that were, because at 57 there weren't that many people that climbed those mountains, the Himalayas. It was just really sort of getting going.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Not like now where they say now there's people going up and down them all the time. It drives the people crazy there.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
because it's destroying the ecology. But back then it was very rare.
Yeah, it was, which very, is good because some of the cinematography for the B-roll, like we were discussing a little bit before we actually did the show, is amazing cinematography because the B crew went out there on location and saw some amazing stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if there's nothing else about this film, they what do you call it? They seamlessly meld in all this amazing cinematography for the mountains and stuff with of the studio work, which we all know. Hammer Studios was known for a lot of their studio and their set work. So
their set design was just unparalleled amongst the other studios.
Yeah. So getting back to the film, of course, because I know there's probably going to be some people who haven't seen this one nearly as many the Dracula films. You have Dr. Rawlson and Fox, who are initially there sent to research these plants. Oh, with Rawlson.
Yeah, because Cushing's character, Rawlinson's a botanist. That was his specialty.
Botanist, yeah.
So.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, I really like this little tidbit of information is that he was an experienced climber, but he had an accident, and then he became a botanist, scientist.
Yes, so he wouldn't have to climb mountains anymore.
So he wouldn't have to climb mountains. I thought that was a really interesting little tidbit. But that's good because that adds in the whole thing with his wife.
I was going to say now he's got his wife with him because she's keeping an eye on him because of the experiences he's had in the past.
But Helen is
Helen,
played by Maureen Connell. I always say that wrong.
And she had a nice little career, but she's known mainly for being the wife of John Gillerman, the guy who directed both of the King Kongs in the 70s and a bunch of action films here in the United States. They actually lived in the United States for several years, I think right up until the time he died.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
She's still alive. She's still with us. She's like 94 years old. She's still hanging in there.
For me, this beginning is a nice little interesting setup because there's a lot of great, what do you call it, respect between Dr. Rawlson and the llama and all the people that live there.
Right.
So then the Fox character who can't eat the food, can't stand the tea, can't stand the weather.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah, he's miserable.
He's miserable, but he's doing it for the science. So it's a very humanitarian type thing that they're doing because they're doing it for research in humanity.
Yes, yeah.
Or at least that is the impression Dr. Rawlson is trying to give everyone. And
right.
The llama with his second sight is telling Rawlson that his team of friends are about to show up. Actually, one of them is actually called Mr. Friend. Or Tom
it is.
Friend.
It's Tom Friend. Yeah, he's a famous. Yeah, because we find out that Rawlinson has an ulterior motive in mind. He just had to be in the Himalayas for this particular plant at this time because Tom Friend has got an expedition going, and old Rawlinson has heard about the Abominable Snowman or the Yeti. This is the first time I ever heard it called Yeti. Mm-hmm. That was a term that didn't get around a whole lot when I was a kid growing up until later on. But we find out, that much to the disdain of Helen, that he was really up there to see what's going on with his Yeti thing.
Yeah, because Tom Friend and his team, which includes McNee and Shelley, I think his name is Shelley.
Yes, and Shelley I think Shelley ought to be very familiar to people. Robert Brown, who played M in all the James Bond films of this time period. So very familiar face.
Yes, very familiar. And a great character in this film, too.
But he didn't have any gadgets with him on this one. So
No. These people who have been setting this up for at least a year now are designed to go up until the toppest points of the Himalayas to search for the Yeti, alive or dead.
Right.
Mostly alive, because the cool thing about Friend, Tom, as we find out later in the film, is that he's almost like a carnival sideshow.
Yeah, he reminds me. He's almost like a P.T. Barnum type.
Yeah, P.T. Barnum. Thank you,
yeah.
P.T. Barnum. Which is very interesting because he's doing this all for fame and glory more so than anything else. But he is very interested in what Rawlson finds out because he also brings him along, not out of spite or anything, but genuine concern about the scientific aspects of this whole thing.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he definitely is interested in Rawlinson's background as a scientist in this. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this is not like the good versus bad. I mean, he may be a P.T. Barnum wanting a Yeti to showcase for the world,
right?
But he also, he takes into consideration the scientific aspects for this.
Yeah, I mean, there's implications here and there. It's not overt, which I like. It's not preachy.
Yes.
That even though Friend is I don't want to say despicable, but I mean he's out for the bucks as well as, but he is also out for scientific knowledge in a sense. If this is the missing link that people believe the Yeti is between apes and humans or whatever, something that would clarify the evolutionary theory a little more. He was interested in that aspect of it as well, in addition to the exploitive aspects that he, sort of like, well, hey, it doesn't hurt to make a buck now and then,
Yeah, yeah.
But he went both ways. So you sort of, you almost start off this movie wanting to hate the guy, but it's like, no, you really can't. I mean, the more you get to know him, it's like, okay, he's really not that bad of a guy.
No, and that's one of the great things about the film is that they don't make him out to be a true villain in this.
No, that's right. Yeah.
So it's watching the progression of all the characters in this film is very interesting because there are no actual true villains in the film. Now, they are they're not disillusioned. They're what's the word that I would say when because Tom's character is very shit. Can't think of the. I can't. I know what to say, but I can't say it. But he doesn't want to like kill the. He's not out there on purpose to go out there hunting and killing.
No.
The Abominable Snowman, like Rawlinson thinks he is. Like that's not his. He's not. I mean, that's not what he's out there for. And like
he'd rather capture it than kill it. But it's still, if worst comes to worst, he wants a carcass to show.
Because
show it exists.
Yeah, because he readily, and they all admit that it was an accident when they killed the first one that they come in contact with.
Yes, right.
Accident. That's not what their purpose was. But before we get to that, I did want to say that when Ralston is talked into attending the expedition up the mountain because he's not supposed to be hiking anymore because of his injury, and Helen definitely doesn't want him to go hiking up the mountain anymore. But it just proves too what do you call it? What's the word? Too much of a I can't think of the word.
I know he's upset. Yeah, and he's obsessed with it. But what Helen really gets concerned about is she finds out that he'd already made the deal with Friend before they even went on their expedition. Mm-hmm. That this was all planned way ahead of time.
Yeah,
and the llama picked up on that. He already knew that. Like you said, he said, "Yeah, your friends are coming." Mm-hmm. It was like, "What are you talking?" And he's trying to play sort of dumb, like, "Oh, is this guy coming too?" Oh, it's like, and the llama's not buying any of it. It's like, "No, I know what you're up to."
That's a cool aspect of the llama. The llama knows everything.
He is cool, man. He's one of the coolest guys in this whole movie.
I can't remember who played him, but it was.
I've got the cast list written down here. The llama's played by a French or a German actor, I believe he is, Arnold, and I think it's Marley. It's Marle with the little apostrophe on the end of it. There. So I think that's how it's pronounced. And sorry, Arnold. God rest your soul. He's not with us anymore, but I think that's how it's pronounced.
Well, he played the hell out of the llama role. And
he's great. Oh, he's very believable.
Yeah. It's a little shame that he was only really in like the first third of the movie, and then his character doesn't really come back really.
Just a little bit at the very end.
Yeah, just a little bit at the very end. But it's really cool that once you start seeing these 5 characters, because they have their porter. What's his name? The I can't remember his
name.
Kusang is their person who claims to have seen the monster before, but not really. As we learn, the monster he thinks is the Yeti is not really the Yeti, which is quite
no. That's one of the first little red herrings that we get hit with in the movie, which is sort of interesting. Yeah. I remember as a kid, I was like, oh man, are they going to disappoint us in this thing?
Oh really? You thought that?
Because I figured, okay, he saw one and all that, and then they find an animal that they just that's it, and I think it was Rawlinson who said, no, it's not. I know what that is.
He knows what it is.
It was some kind of indigenous.
It was a Himalayan monkey, as he calls it.
Yeah. I was trying to remember the term he actually used. A Himalayan monkey. That's exactly what
they're everywhere around here.
Yeah, this is nothing unusual at all.
But for a moment there, that doesn't bother Tom because Tom says, "I'll take it back anyways and claim it's the Yeti." So
No, because they had this bone that they showed the llama.
mhm.
Um, that was supposedly from a dead Yeti. Um, and so he's still convinced that there's something up there,
Yep.
just from what other people had seen.
So, but yes, we had this whole sequence where they accidentally catch the Himalayan monkey.
Yeah,
And for a moment there, Tom was going to take that down, and that was going to be his prize.
that was going to be it. Yeah,
as his Yeti, but it's short lived. As that night, while they were all like talking, which is and the conversations between these characters are very interesting because we get to know a lot more about who they are through the
oh yeah,
conversations
yeah,
they do as a group. But they're distracted, and what ends up happening is that the Yeti or something we all know it's a Yeti now, but something breaks the Himalayan monkey out of the cage and sets
right. I mean, just destroys the cage. So it's got to be something huge.
yeah, so we have this creature who doesn't really go after the humans, but it's just setting the monkey free from captivity.
There's some really good spooky sequences in that whole stretch too, and obviously something else is prowling around out there. The one guy that got hurt. I guess let's see that comes a little later, I guess. But
we forgot about McNee. So
yeah,
McNee is
he gets banged up pretty bad.
he is the character that's the odd one because he has no climbing experience.
Right,
When
right.
there. But it's okay because what happens is him and Rolliston get separated from the rest of the group, and we learn a lot more about his character as they're
Yeah,
making their journey up the mountain, way behind Shelley and
right.
Kushan
Shelley and Friend and all those
and-
guys. Yeah,
yeah, which is really cool because you don't get that many scenes where it's just two characters like that in this movie.
yeah.
A
No,
lot of
you
times
don't.
it's just all of them. So it's refreshing to see this scene like this with these two characters because he's the only character, McNee, that doesn't have a whole lot to do with it, but he has this obsession.
Yeah, yeah.
The Yeti, just like Rawson does, just like Friend does. The only one that doesn't really have an obsession at this point is McNee. Uh, he's kind of just doing it because he's a great trapper. I mean,
Yeah, and he's an actor we don't know that much about. I couldn't find very much on him at all. This may be the only movie he made
oh, really?
that we're aware of, or at least in England anyway. But yeah, because I couldn't find much on him. Some actors are like that. They work, or they might be doing a lot of theater. I get the impression he might have been a theater actor more so than a film actor,
Yeah, yeah. You know what?
because he was pretty good. I mean, he was not a bad actor at all.
No, because when we have the scene with him in the cave by himself
Yeah.
later on, he does a really excellent job to set himself apart from the other ones.
Yes, he did. Yes,
He's
he did.
not. He's doing this because he's a hunter. He's a trapper. He has
Yeah.
to prove that his traps work. He doesn't mind being.
Oh, they work.
Yeah, they work. Uh, but what happens to McNee? Because that's how this all started. Let's try to explain what happens to McNee. Is they get separated from the rest of the group, but when they finally catch up, McNee falls into one of the bear traps that
Yeah, one of
set.
his own traps, or that the friend put out there.
Yeah. So unfortunately for them, or for him, McNee, he gets it foot trapped in there, and then he's incapacitated.
Yeah,
So he has to be more or less set in a tent or the cave and just wait until they can all go down the hill again or go down the mountain again. Because at this point in the movie, they are really high up. Almost, they're not all the way to the top, but they're up close.
yeah, they're not up where they need to use oxygen yet, but they've
Yeah.
got it with them when they get that high. But it's too far to go back.
Yeah, yeah.
They would have to scrub the whole thing and do it all over again, and that's expensive.
Yes. The motivation to stay there is it's too expensive. They spent a year.
Right.
setting
And the guy's injuries weren't life threatening or anything. But
up. At least not yet.
no.
Uh, yeah. So now that we've explained what happened to McNee, what happens is that night, obviously, the after the what do you call it? The Himalayan monkey has been
The monkey, yeah.
freed, and everyone's outside um, looking for tracks and signs of the Yeti and all that type of stuff. The Yeti comes back to the tent where McNee is positioned, or
Oh, I love this scene.
and creepily puts his hand through
Yeah,
the
through the bottom of the tent.
yeah, through the bottom of the tent. Now I'm not sure. I'm not sure why he does that. Why the Yeti does that? Because there's motivation for everything else, other than maybe he's curious.
Yeah, I think it's curiosity. I All I know is that the first time I saw this movie, that's the scene that stayed with me as a
Really?
kid. Whenever I thought of this movie as a kid, that's the scene I thought about. That guy there, sort of helpless, and he's like, oh, and he couldn't really talk, and this weird hand coming in there, and sort of just not really to hurt anybody, right, but just sort of groping around, looking around to see what's in there, and then it gets scared off, and then it busts the monkey out.
Yeah, it was.
But it's just such a creepy scene.
Well, it's funny. Well, it's also creepy and funny because Kushang sees the hand and he goes completely bonkers.
He goes nuts, yeah.
He goes bonkers, and this scene is funny. He's running down the side of the mountain to get as far away as possible.
Yes. Yeah, he takes off, and that's like, what the hell with you guys? You can find your way to the top on your own.
He takes off, which is funny when we're watching it, but you also got to keep in mind that no one else goes up there, ventures that far, that high up the mountains, which is why it's only Kushang, and he only goes up there because he says he's seen the Yeti, but that was really the Himalayan monkey. So, you know, it's a really well-written script when you put all these elements together because you're following what's happening, and it's very once you see the Yeti for the first time, it goes by fast. This isn't a very long movie, but it goes by fast.
It does. Yeah, there's no slow parts to it at all.
No, no. I mean, I think they cut back to Helen and Fox maybe twice while we're watching the adventure happen up there. One is when Kushang finally makes his way back to the village, which is it does not take him that long.
No, I guess it's easier to go down than come up, I guess.
Yeah. And when he gets down to back to the monastery and he's hysterical, and the people at the monastery are leading him away. Helen sees all this, and she demands to kind of talk with the Lama to see what's going on, what he knows about what happened to her husband and the crew, and she's concerned, but of course she doesn't get any answers. So the good thing about her is she and Fox decide to trek up there themselves. So
there's what was it about halfway up to the top of that little cabin or something that had been put up there.
Yeah,
I think they get that far anyway. They can get up there a little bit.
Yeah, their first base camp, I guess, is the best way.
Base camp. That's what they called it.
Their first base camp is where they end up at, and that's where they stay for most of the rest of the movie. And while we're watching what happens to Ralston and Shelley and McNee and Friend. Now, after McNee perishes in his whole he like goes catatonic. He like completely catatonic, and I can't remember what happened. I know he dies, but I don't remember what happens to him. He goes catatonic and after seeing the Yeti, and then it seemed like he wandered off, and wandered off.
It might have gone off. I can't remember if he's the one that went off the cliff or not, but there was a couple of them that all died in different ways.
Because the Yeti was not responsible for his death, but he did die because they bury him with the other. I was just talking about his name, Shelley. They bury him with Shelley, and you said
Shelley. Now Shelley had a panic attack, and I think he did get killed by the Yeti, but it wasn't like the Yeti was.
He had a panic. Remember, they set up the trap to try and capture alive.
Yes.
On Friend's suggestion, because Friend now he has a corpse of a Yeti, and he knows that the Yetis that they've heard outside are going to come for this body. So they said
that's it. Yeah, I was trying to remember. because it moves so fast, you can
moves
get it
fast.
out of order so easily.
It moves fast, and we don't see all the elaborateness of what Shelley does in his trap to capture the Yeti. We just know he does it, and we know that they're using the corpse of the dead one as bait.
Yeah, Shelley died of a heart attack. That was it. Because he thought yeah, we don't really know if he saw the Yeti.
Oh yeah.
Or what? I think it's pretty obvious he did. I mean, if you see the movie, I mean, that's one thing I like about this movie. They leave a lot to you. That's not real blatant, but he just totally panicked, and that killed him.
No, the Yeti gets captured, and remember,
that one does. Yes, that's right. That's right. They did get one.
Shelley shoots him in the cave, but they're blanks because
yes, that's right. That's right.
Blanks in it, thinking that he didn't want another dead one. So
right.
I thought that's a very
that's when we realized there's more than one.
Yeah,
one Yeti.
Yeah, there's more than
that
one.
Actually, and Rollinson always suspected there might have been like a nest or whatever, but they Front was sort of operating on an assumption that it was just the one or whatever. But
okay, so getting back to what we were talking about, Jim.
Yeah, it was real easy for me to get confused on Shelley. I had to go back and dig my notes out again. Because we are going on the roller coaster now. I mean, things are just happening real fast. They set a trap for this Yeti in a cave. He got trapped in a net. Shelley was there, fires the rifle at him, and the Yeti comes after him, and he dies of a heart attack.
Yep.
But the Yeti didn't kill him. It was the panic that killed him. When Rollinson and friends show up, they find the body and stuff, and then and Rollinson's like, what happened here or whatever, and then
a mark on him.
There's no marks on the guy or anything, and then Friend admitted, he says there were blanks in the rifle because I knew he was going to panic and I didn't want another dead Yeti, because the one they had, either they had one that was dead, then they hid the body.
Yeah.
So that's when Friend decides, okay, maybe too many people we're losing too many people here. Maybe it's time to go home.
Yeah, so they want to go home, so they want to strap the corpse on the sled and get
right. They're going to take the corpse back with them, and he said, "Well, at least I can show people that this thing exists because we've got a body."
Yeah.
But
yeah, go ahead.
What he doesn't count on is that these Yetis are a lot more advanced than they were getting credit for. These weren't animals. They weren't beasts. They had some telepathic abilities, and they sort of threw this thought into Friend's mind that basically causes him to die, to kill himself or whatever. He's the one that goes off the cliff. I think he was the one that goes off the cliff or whatever. Or the avalanche. Was it an avalanche? Or I think he just went off the cliff, if I'm not mistaken. And that's when I know the first time I saw this is, I wasn't that old. I was probably like 9 or 10 years old when I first saw this. I was like, whoa, what you mean they can do this mind thing? Oh my God, And of course, Rollinson is just blown away.
Yeah, he's blown away.
He's convinced now he's not going to make it back. But he has a chance to see. I think this is one of the best parts of the whole movie, is the way it's staged, where he gets to see the other Yeti, the living one, who actually who has a family in the cave. There's a little one and a female, and then of course Rollinson is sort of, what would you call it, exposure or whatever. He's overcome.
Yeah, he's over because
with that, and next thing you know, he's found by a rescue team at the halfway point or whatever, down near where the wife and Fox is, and we realize the Yeti saved him. He grabs him and takes him down there where he can be found by the rescue team. So it's like, not only are these Yetis they're not really aggressive, they're not warlike or whatever, but they're actually very compassionate as well.
Yeah.
A lot more intelligent than Rollinson ever realized, because he was visualizing him as sort of a step up from the great apes. before, but not quite human or whatever.
Yeah,
Realizes, no, that's not the case.
they present several good theories about how
I
the
love the
kids.
theory about why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah.
That's what makes this one. It's funny because it is a drama with kind of these adventure tropes, and just
Yeah.
it's not really a horror film, but it's still included as a horror film because
Well,
how
yeah, maybe almost a science fiction because one of his theories, which is probably the most believable one from what we've seen, is that these creatures are obviously very, very intelligent, and with the telepathic abilities they've shown, um, beyond they could teach us something. So why are they up in the top of the Himalayan mountains or whatever? And Rawlinson's like, they're biding their time. Man is probably they're assuming man is going to destroy himself. Again, this is 1957,
hmm
and we've just come out of the nuclear. You're starting to get into the nuclear age. The Russians now have an atomic bomb, and the superpowers are sort of staring each other down with their nuclear strengths and stuff. And of course, and I've talked about this so much. People are probably tired of me saying it, but we as kids back then assumed we would not live normal lives. I mean, die normal death. We'd probably die in a mushroom cloud.
yeah.
The world would, and so many films that came out during this time period, well into the 60s, well up into the 80s, dealt with apocryphal scenarios that were we blew each other up.
Cold War.
Yep, the old Cold War or whatever. And so they bring that element in there without being preachy. That's what I like about it.
Yes, it's not.
It's just sort of say, well, this would make sense that they would do that and just sort of wait. This is the one place that man's not going to find them. Until now, we found them, but normally this is a great place for them to hide out. And when we kill each other off, then they'll just come on down and take their place.
So,
Now, what a way to end this movie! I mean, it was just like, but I love the scene with the female and the little one and stuff like that. It was just the way they laid that, the way they staged that, and all that. And Rawlinson's like, well, he has the best line in the whole movie at the end where when Helen and Fox, find him, when in the rescue party,
mhm.
find him, and when he gets back to the llama. And the llama's just sort of sitting there like he just knows everything that's going. He knows a lot more about this than he lets on. You almost think that he's got a connection with the Yetis.
Well,
Of course, he's the enlightened one, so he probably does. And he basically asked Rawlinson, "So did you find what you were looking for?" And he just basically says, "What I was looking for doesn't exist," and that's true. Yeah, he was looking for some kind of creature, some kind of beast type thing, and that's not what he found.
yeah, it was very interesting the way the llama is done. It's
Yeah, he's
sees the
great.
future, he knows the future, but he also wants the people he talks to, like Rawlinson, to be able to figure it out on his own.
Yes, he let him discover the epiphany on
Yes,
his
yes,
own there.
yes. I actually really like that about this. Is why I like that character so much. I thought the way that it was handled was brilliantly for this type of film.
Yeah, and you just don't see this kind of thing in a 1957 movie. This is and if this had been made in Hollywood, it never would have been this way. I mean, they never would have had an ending like that or a storyline like that. It would, the Yeti would have been a creature that attacked people. There'd be blood and it'd be like a wild animal type thing, and it's like a Bigfoot or something or other.
Is
And
that the
it's
funny
like,
thing
no,
with
that's not what it was at all.
No, not at all. But that's the funny thing about this film is that the only blood you see is the blood from the Yeti when they shoot the one.
When we shoot the Yeti, yep, that's right.
Other than that, you don't see any.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, everybody in Friends crowd is so quick to pull out the rifles and, yeah, let's just shoot and ask questions later. We'll always have a body, so that's all we need.
Yeah. So
It doesn't paint humans in a very good light.
no, no. But the cool thing about the movie is that each one of these characters are completely different. The
Yes.
main character is obsessed with it because he thinks he saw it when he was younger, and then,
Right.
of course, ba 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 ba, the hunter, Shelley is a
Oh,
hunter.
Shelley. Yeah.
He's hunted everything, but he's never hunted this. So it excites him when he builds his own trap to try and capture it.
And he's not a cliched character. That's what I really like about the way this was written.
Yeah, he's not a cliche. And then
I've seen that character in other movies like this. That, they're like way over the top and big game hunter, and all that. And that's not him in this.
and then of course you have the friend character who is like the P.T. Barnum. I love the fact that you said that. Now that's all the only thing I'm gonna think of is P.T. Barnum. But he's someone who thinks that because it's a mythological type of thing that all he needs to do is show it for the world to see.
That's
and
it.
make money off of it. And of course, you have a scientist who's the benevolent one, who because he shows that benevolence, he is rewarded by the Yeti by his life.
Yeah. I like the P.T. Barnum thing because my family has a connection with P.T. Barnum. It's my great grandmother. No, my great aunt was married to Tom Thumb, and was a little person and toured with P.T. Barnum's circus. They had a big wedding in New York. It was a big, huge event.
Really?
And someone in my family, and my dad's side and this was on my mom's side, and someone on my dad's side of the family, my aunt on my dad's side of the family, actually had one of the invitations. I don't know how she came by it, but one of her relatives had actually gone to the wedding, and they had these little engraved invitations. So I still have that.
That's cool.
Because she said, I think you might like to have that since you were related to Lavinia Warren, who married Tom Thumb. They stayed married for many years. Well, up until their deaths.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but Lavinia and her sister, who was a little person, only incidents of little people in my family at all. Just those two. They were both school teachers in Massachusetts. And she married Tom Thumb, and then Lavinia's sister, and I'm trying to remember, I can't remember her name now, but she toured with them too when they went to Europe and all that, and had quite a lot of adventures together.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know that for many, many years until a relative of ours through my mother's side had written a book about it. It mentioned, doing a history of the family, and wrote about that. We're like, whoa, I didn't know this. So this is what I love about genealogy. Sometimes you never know what you're going to find out.
Wow, I haven't done much of that myself, but I know my sister loves to know about genealogy in our family tree, and I kind of don't pay attention to her.
It takes a lot of work. It's very time consuming.
And
I do it in spurts now. I'm still finding out stuff like I'm a distant relative of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln through the two different tree. I mean, it's amazing. I never would have dreamed that. I knew I had some Revolutionary War relatives, some famous ones that were. One of them who founded the Army Rangers is a distant relative of mine. His name is Thomas Knowlton. And through that, I'm related to Ben Affleck and Matt Damon because we're all connected to the same guy. So it's a small world, man.
Oh, my God. Well, hopefully.
But yeah, I love the P.T. Barnum thing. I've always been fascinated with him growing up.
Okay.
So I just finished a biography on him not too long ago.
Oh, really?
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, just called PT. It was all about the museum, that he was famous for.
Okay.
And how he came about, business wise as the businessman. It was sort of interesting. He wasn't really the hack that everyone led him to believe. He was actually a pretty intelligent guy.
And so it has to be in order to do what he did and what he accomplished.
Yeah. I mean, he had some phony stuff in there, or whatever, but he admitted that.
Showmanship.
Yeah, but that's who this friend guy really reminded me of. It's like,
Yes.
Yep, they really definitely the writers based that character, I think, on Barnum. So.
All right, so what else is there in this film that you would like to discuss?
Man, I think we sort of got it all over there. Even when I got confused there for a minute, I had to, because it's very easy to confuse the players in this. Okay, wait a minute, who died of what now?
Yeah,
but it moves very quickly, and you just get wrapped up. And I got to tell you, folks, I mean, I felt cold watching this movie when they're up in the climbing sequences. I mean, not uncomfortably, but I could feel that, you're where no people have ever been before or whatever, and that loneliness and that cold, and so you almost could feel like I need to go put a sweater on or something.
Well, keep in mind all that B-roll of them climbing up the mountains. There are
Yeah.
no other tracks other than their tracks.
No, that's it. It was
Mountains.
pristine, totally pristine.
And these are wide shots, so it looks
Yes.
like they are alone up there on that mountain peak as they're climbing it. So it's really effective. It's really,
And the black and white, I think, really helps set that off too.
I think so too. I think this ages better because it's in black and white than it did if it would be in color.
Yeah, I think color would have ruined the atmosphere that they needed for this film.
Yeah, because some of those some of the sets, especially the set when they're at the second base camp and all that haze and fog are covering the entire
Oh,
scene,
yeah.
and the way that they carved, they created the ice ridges and stuff like that.
That was
It's really
incredible.
cool. Yeah, it was
Incredible.
really cool.
And it's funny, the next year they would do another film that was very similar called The Trollenberg Terror,
Oh
or
yeah,
The Crawling Eye, which also took place at the base of the Himalayas. And I think they used a lot of those, probably some of those sequences as well in
really?
that, because they had to climb up and down the mountain. I think the base camp was the same. A little cabin made an appearance in there and stuff. So,
I
Hammer, they're going to reuse stuff. They're not as
yeah.
bad. They're not as bad as Corman, but I mean, they will reuse them. And that film had that same feel about it that this one does too, as well.
Oh, you know what? Now I gotta go back and rewatch it just to see if I.
It's one of my favorite movies. I mean, even though that monsters are cheesy and stuff, I still love the film.
No, I'm saying with you. I'm saying with you. I'm saying with you on that one. I love these type of the older films like this, the cheesy monsters, and this is what a lot of people, modern day people, will watch it. They'll look at this and look at it as though it's kind of old because it's not like the Bigfoot or the Yeti is the evil presence in the movie, like
Right.
so many other modern day movies about the Yetis.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
This-
I mean, when you look at it, some of these contemporary Bigfoot movies and then the Yeti movies, of today, they're almost the same. It's almost the same story, as far as what the monsters do.
Well, yes.
And there's a lot of theories out there that, again, I'm not going to say whether I believe in Bigfoot or not, but, a lot of those that believe that we may be dealing with a very intelligent creature as well. And that's why they've been able to stay so well hidden
Yeah.
over the years, even though there have been some although the famous film of the one that from the 60s was finally admitted it was a hoax or whatever. But I mean, there have been sightings all over the place on these. So who knows? And yes, folks, I've been in a Bigfoot movie. I'll admit that.
As many Bigfoot movies that are shot here in Georgia and filmmakers I know who have shot Bigfoot movies,
Yeah.
I have not been in one yet, or produced one. So it's fun to watch them because I know so many people that are in them. But I have yet.
Without upsetting any of my friends, I would like to produce and direct a good one. Okay, I'm just going to say that, and I'll just leave it at that.
Oh Jesus! So I'll give you 2 years to write yourself a really good one, Jim. And then
Yeah, that's it.
shoot a
I
Bigfoot
got to take some time off. I got to write a Bigfoot movie.
I don't think I can come up with an ideal for a Bigfoot.
That's the trouble, is finding the right hook, because everything's been done.
Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
really,
I'd rather do like a Loch Ness Monster one.
Loch Ness Monster would be fun. Yeah,
I don't know if it'd be fun shooting on the water, but
maybe there's one up in Lake Lanier or something, or
That's
certainly
not-
Lake Allatoona, maybe, because it's a bigger lake. So
nah, I kind of threatened a friend of mine about that. We got to put an aquatic monster in Lake Lanier terrorizing.
yeah.
people. Oh my God! Are there any other thoughts that you have on this film?
No, if you haven't seen it, folks, it really is worth a watch. You're going to be very impressed with the performances are excellent.
Mm-hmm.
The story is very well done. Cinematography is just outstanding. It's an incredible film.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so
And I'm getting prepared for what you're going to ask next.
so I want to thank you, Jim, for having this conversation about Abominable Snowman. For everyone out there who's listening, what we do now in our program is we like to take a few moments to rate the film between 1 to 5 stars, 1 being poor, 5 stars being excellent. Where on the spectrum, Jim, do you put the Abominable Snowman?
I'm putting this at 4.5. I think it's a very strong film, and the elements, the writing, acting, direction, cinematography, all of it. I haven't given a film a 5-star rating yet, but this one's very close.
I give it a 4.5 too.
Yeah.
Mainly because I don't think this is, for me, this movie is not aged. In the 2 years that I've seen this, I think 2.5 times, 2 times, maybe 3 times. I keep thinking, I think I fell asleep watching it one time.
I was just gonna ask what the halftime is, the one you fell asleep during.
Because when I bought it a few years ago, watched it, I loved it. I think I tried to watch it again, and I think I fell asleep, and then I rewatched it again for this. Because it's one of the Hammer films that I had never had the opportunity to watch multiple times.
Yeah, and it doesn't get old. It really doesn't. I mean, I'll watch it every few years, and it just doesn't get old.
I don't have another Bigfoot movie that I absolutely love, except for, and don't laugh at me, everyone, when I say this title, but Harry and the Hendersons. So that's about the only other Bigfoot movie that I actually watch.
That one, I'm not going to laugh because it's a very entertaining movie.
It's entertaining as shit, dude.
Very entertaining. And most of the others are just sort of like, are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah, you know what? I think Exist is about the only one that comes close to being one I really enjoyed. But I'm not a big...
I liked Abominable.
See, I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, that's worth a look. That's the best of the bunch.
Okay.
With Matt McCoy.
Yeah.
And that was one I remember a friend of mine sent me a copy of it on DVD. And I remember when Mom was still alive, I said, hey, you want to watch this Abominable Snowman movie? Or whatever it's called, Abominable. I said, I think it's more about Bigfoot or whatever. And she said, oh, yeah. I said, it's going to be probably cheesy or whatever. And we just got totally wrapped in it. We're going, this is a good movie.
Okay.
And it was extremely, and I've watched it several times since then. I just love the way that one was written and acted and produced. It was done very well.
Okay. So
it's worth a look. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's very easy to find.
Well, we haven't done, this is our first one of Yeti, Abominable Snowman.
Yeah, we'll have to do one on that one.
for this podcast. A Conversation in Horror, I think the only one we did was the found footage one, Bigfoot, The Lost Coast Tapes. I don't think we've done another one yet. So
no. I remember watching that one. I can't remember. I think I had to miss the one we actually recorded for that one. But
yes, we just need to add some more Bigfoot movies.
Yeah.
With that, I want to thank you all for listening to our program, Conversations in Hammer Studio Horrors. Please make sure to check out our previous episodes, which are or our current episodes, which are every first and third Friday of the month. Also, make sure to check out our regular podcast, Conversations in Horror, which is every week on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. And for all of you who venture and love comic books, manga, and graphic novels, also go to our Patreon page and check out our Conversations in 4-Color, which delves deep into comic books, manga, and graphic novels. From all of us here at Something Wicked Entertainment and Conversations in Hammer Studio Horrors, we want to wish you a pleasant day, and remember to like, follow, share, subscribe so you never miss an episode of our show. Have a good day. Conversations in Hammer Studio Horrors is a Broken Lighthouse Pictures and Something Wicked Entertainment podcast. It is hosted by Kevin L. Powers, original music provided by Dusty Ellison, produced and directed by Kevin L. Powers. Our executive producer is Kelly A. Inoka. This podcast is produced in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Conversations in Hammer Studio Horrors is part of the Conversations in Horror podcast franchise and is copyright 2025 Broken Lighthouse Pictures. No part of this program can be used without express permission from Broken Lighthouse Pictures.